In the new 2020 Digimon Adventure Reboot series, we see the same group of kids you remember from 1999, Tai, Matt, Sora, Mimi, etc., along with their signature Digimon partners, Agumon, Gabumon, Piomon, Palmon. It's been a blast seeing these friendships forged all over again, but another interesting thing is that several of the kids have forged new relationships with Digimon that aren't their main partners during this season. And it got me thinking about a version of Digimon closer to the video games where you, the hero, have multiple Digimon, or dare I say it, like the Pokemon anime where of course Ash has Pikachu, but then also gets Metapod and Pidgeotto. So I thought it would be fun to look back through the new series and look at the major one-on-one connections the human characters have made with other Digimon in this series, and kind of assign each character a secondary Digimon. Basically, if Chosen Children had multiple Digimon, who would be their secondary Digimon based on what we've seen so far? Let's go ahead and start with Joe, since the answer is pretty fresh and their connection was super strong. Joe has a little buddy named Potamon, who later digivolves into Jagamon. Joe and Potamon bond over their love of fast food, particularly French fries. For a moment in Joe's big episode, Jagamon went berserk, but Joe was able to calm it down, purifying it by bonking him with Zudomon's hammer, which had been blessed by Anjuamon's arrow. The two split up after the fight, but if this was a show where the kids had multiple Mons, the team would definitely be Joe, Gomamon, and Potamon. Next, let's look at Mimi, who would definitely have Golemon. We first met Golemon having this sparring match with Togemon, two hulking protectors for Mimi. Mimi would eventually go on to improve Digimon's working conditions in episode 38 with Golemon as her right-hand man, her reinforcer. They also part ways at the end of Mimi's episode, with Golemon being promoted to acting CEO in Mimi's absence. Sora saved and forged a connection with a shy little Digimon named Pomamon in episode 40 while trying to save Pomamon's friends as well as Taichi and Metal Greymon from being turned into fruits and then eaten. Pomamon is a pretty new Digimon, debuting in 2020 before making the anime debut in this 2021 episode. Pomamon also kind of resembles Piomon in color and general bird anatomy, so in this case Sora would definitely be a bird type tamer, like a flying type gym leader in Pokemon. Kari, of course, would be paired with Commandamon, who she has taken care of this series, like the time she gave him a nice little bath in the underwater sanctuary. The other characters have mostly treated Commandamon like a glorified bus, but Kari's shown a love for him since day one. So Kari, Tailmon, and Commandamon are definitely the trilogy. If Wizardmon appeared in this series, we imagine he'd get the spot, but unfortunately he's been a no-show so far. Taichi is getting paired up with Lopmon as his secondary Digimon in this hypothetical situation. Based on what we've seen in the show, the way he protected Lopmon in that burning forest was so unbelievably cute, and Lopmon's knowledge of the ancient Digimon war is definitely valuable to Taichi and the team. So for 2020 Reboot Taichi, we're thinking it's Taichi, Agumon, and Lopmon. For TK, I stumbled for a second thinking about what Digimon he could get, who else he really interacted with in this season, until I remembered Eldoradimon. He actually rescued Eldoradimon even before he met Patamon, so you could argue that Patamon is the secondary Digimon and Eldoradimon is his primary Digimon in this hypothetical scenario, which, by the way, again, if you're watching this and you're this far in, it's just a fun hypothetical what-if exercise, nothing too official, nothing to take too seriously. Matt is a tough one. He's often a loner, but if we had to assign him a secondary Digimon partner, at first I thought the answer was Harrismon based on this short interaction, but as the series went on, Yamato and Gabumon saw that crest of friendship really kick in and made two other Digimon friends that are serious contenders, Makmon and Starabimon. Makmon was effectively cursed to a life of eternally racing on this death race track until Yamato and Gabumon pulled him out of it, out of the depths of despair, and activated Gabumon's standard Mega Metal Garurumon while simultaneously breaking the chain and freeing Makmon from its death race. Later on though, Matt and Gabumon made a new friend that I'm inclined to award the title of secondary partner to, Starabimon. This Digimon was a fighter from a small band of village survivors who were victims of raids by this ghost samurai Zambamon. With Starabimon's help, Matt and Gabumon unlocked Crescarurumon, their alternate mega form. We later saw that Matt was still hanging out with Starabimon in their camp one episode later in episode 57, so with their friendship lasting more than one episode and Starabimon being the rookie form of Lobomon, another wolf-inspired Digimon, we're going to call it and say this team is Yamato, Gabumon, and Starabimon. It took Izzy a long while to find a friend beyond Tentomon in this show, but we eventually formed a really strong relationship with Junkmon, a fellow scientist or science user as Dr. Stone fans would say. These three are perfect for each other. Our first encounter with Junkmon was kind of a filler episode, but Junkmon re-entered the story in episode 51 as he had joined a band of science-using Digimon and informed our team about the mystery of the crests and the Great Catastrophe. And when all of the kids split off in search of their crests, Izzy and Tentomon stayed back to help Junkmon research, so there's no question about it, this team is Izzy, Tentomon, and Junkmon. So those are our secondary partners for the cast of Digimon Adventure 2020. Once more from the top: Joe, Gomamon, and Potamon; Mimi, Palmon, and Golemon; Sora, Piomon, and Pomamon; Kari, Tailmon/Gatomon, and Commandamon; Tai, Agumon, and Lopmon; TK, Eldoradimon, and Patamon; Yamato, Gabumon, and Starabimon; Izzy, Tentomon, and Junkmon. As usual, comment below, let me know what you think about the idea of DigiDestined partners having secondary Digimon. Leave a like if you liked the video, subscribe to stay up to date with my Digimon content. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.